NASCAR goes south of the border and international for a points-paying cup race for the first time since the modern era. This was a really exciting race, the Viva Mexico 250. We got not really an underdog winner given the type of circuit we're on at a road course at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, but it was a winner that changes up the playoff picture quite a bit. Just a really exciting weekend. I think a lot of fans had this one circled as one that was going to be fun to watch just because it was something completely different from what we're used to seeing with NASCAR going to Mexico City. Also with the possibility of weather in the forecast to change things up. But I want to start by talking about the logistics. So NASCAR did not have an off week last week. And it was kind of cutting it close with getting from the track last week at Michigan to getting to Mexico City this week. And some of the teams got held up. Just really unfortunate scenario in Charlotte. Some planes were delayed. I think there were some paperwork issues. And I don't want to address this up front. Logistically, I think it makes the most sense if you're going to have a Mexico City race going forward, and I would like to have a week off ahead of time, give the drivers a chance to get down there a week early, give the teams a chance to set up early. And this is for two things, right? One, it's to prevent logistical issues like this, but it's also a chance for drivers to get accustomed to the altitude. We talked about some of the illnesses this week. I think altitude plays a role in that, right? Like if you're not used to racing above sea level, if you're not used to, a level of athletic activity at high elevation, this is going to be tough for you to adjust to. We talk about it with basically every other sport, and NASCAR is no different, right? Even the crews, all these guys are affected by the elevation. So I'd like to see them be able to get there a little bit earlier. They're not going to get fully acclimated in a week, but it's going to be better than just being up there for a couple days before. So that's the first thing there. But again, the atmosphere really great all week. It seemed like the fans were super excited in Mexico City to see all the drivers really mobbing around. Everybody on pit road and in the garage. Maybe not as packed as a Formula One race in Mexico City is, but I still think there was a great turnout. I don't know what the official numbers were. I do want to talk briefly about the Xfinity race. I didn't get to watch all of it. Excuse me. Because I was in Austin for a rugby tournament that has also led to me developing a bit of a cough. But Daniel Suarez pulls through a very exciting race. I got to watch a little bit of it on my phone, his battle with Taylor Gray. It looked like Ty Gibbs and Connor Zilisch were going to be battling for the win, but there was a massive come together on a late race restart that set up Suarez with an opportunity to win this race, and he gets it done. And seeing that crowd celebrate with him was just fantastic. It's the moment we all wanted to see when NASCAR announced that they were going to Mexico City. So really glad that he was running in the number 9 car for JRM. Great to see that moment. Now we move on to the Cup Series on Sunday. And this is the hard part about having a one-man show. Sometimes when you're not feeling great, you just kind of have to power through it. I'm going to get a little bit of water in me before we dive into the Cup Series. All right. So starting with stage 1, we got an immediate yellow for rain. I really need NASCAR to stop doing this. All right. Other racing series, unless it's like just a complete washout, you don't really need to throw the yellow for weather. Let the teams make their decisions. Let them come down to pit road and put on wet tires if they need to. We don't need to throw those cautions, right? Let the teams make their decisions to come down. And if they stay out and end up in a tire barrier, sure, then we can throw a caution. But I just thought it was a little bit unnecessary here. And then we go back racing, and obviously NASCAR drivers, not as experienced running on the wet. We get a very, very early caution for Kyle Busch, just under braking in the rain. Lost the car, takes out some innocent bystanders. Looked like he was kind of bowling out there. Justin Haley, AJ Allmendinger, Kyle Larson, and Zane Smith all caught up in it. Busch was out Larson went to the garage. I want to go ahead and talk about this now. Kyle Larson comes out of the garage and came back out on the track to run the fastest lap and earn a point. I think this rule needs to be addressed. I would prefer for lead lap cars only to be eligible for that fastest lap point. As far as up front, it was mostly Ty Gibbs and SVG battling. It looked like all day that it was going to be a battle between the 54 and the 88 for supremacy. Obviously, some strategy and some other things came into play, but we'll get to that in a minute. Ryan Preece wins stage 1 after Gibbs and SVG, as well as most of the other leaders, pit. Just differing strategies, trying to flip the stage. Some people were trying to get on slicks early after getting off the wet tires as the track kind of dried out. So then we get into stage 2. We get a caution for Ryan Truex subbing for Denny Hamlin. God, this is going to be a rough watch for y'all who tuned in thanks to all this coughing, but I appreciate the sport anyway. Caution for Ryan Truex, subbing for Denny Hamlin. Obviously, Hamlin just had the birth of their child. Congrats to him. Not a fun day for Truex. This wasn't the first incident he'd have, but it was the only incident that would bring out a caution for him in the out-11 car. And then we move on. There were some other spins, but we managed to stay green. Gibbs was really dominating stage 2, but Shane Van Gisbergen catches up to him towards the end. Ty Gibbs elects to come down pit road. Shane Van Gisbergen stays out. Part of it was because they thought weather was going to be coming, and so teams were going to have to switch to wets. Part of it was just because to do something different from the 54 team. Just a little bit different strategy, and that was kind of the story of this one. SVG does end up winning stage 2. And Ty Gibbs, with his decision to pit, is buried a little bit further back. So we go on to stage 3. SVG would eventually make his pit stop around lap 62. And Carson Hocevar would spin out shortly after that. That caution pretty much killed the Ty Gibbs strategy. He comes down pit road. Obviously, SVG and some others are able to stay out. I think on the ensuing restart, Ty Gibbs was about 10th, and he gets held up behind Ross Chastain, who is notoriously difficult to pass, and that really killed Ty Gibbs' chance of winning. I think he just burned up the tires trying to get past that one car, which tends to happen a lot. Carson Hocevar would then have a second incident of the day as he gets into Ricky Stenhouse, overbooking the corner. This was a talking point as in the post-race. Ricky Stenhouse goes up to the car of Carson Hocevar and basically tells him, I'm kicking your ass as soon as we get back to the States. It's something that has been broiling, maybe got taken off the burner a little bit whenever, Carson Hocevar got into Stenhouse at Nashville, spun out the 47 into their day. This time at Mexico City marks the second incident between the two, and Stenhouse, I don't think, is going to accept an apology at this point. I think Carson needs to be very, very wary anytime he's around the 47. I can't really blame Stenhouse either. I mean, at this point, you've been taken out twice. The second time, Carson Hocevar was a lap down, not really racing for anything at that point. So that's got to be super frustrating for Ricky Stenhouse in the 47. But at the end of the day, SVG, again with Ty Gibbs kind of buried back in the pack with that caution. Chase Elliott, actually on the same strategy as Gibbs, managed to work his way up to third. But it was all SVG out front. I mean, you expect him to do well. We talked about it in the 3 things to watch for. Expected his supercar experience to translate well here. And he just cruised 17 second. I think it's the largest or one of the largest margins of victories in the next gen car. And SVG punches his playoff ticket. Now we could argue about whether a driver that's 30 something in points should make the playoffs with a win. But that's the rules that we're under. And I think genuinely that Trackhouse Racing thought of that when they decided to put SVG in this car, knowing that a win would punch his ticket, because SVG is so good on these road courses. He's always the threat to win, especially when NASCAR is going to a circuit for the first time. in the Cup Series. And again, some of these drivers maybe did get some experience here in Xfinity action, but SVG just kind of felt like the natural race winner pick going into this weekend, and he delivered that in spades. And I do want to point out that just because the race maybe wasn't that close for the win, there was some great battling throughout the pack. I mean, we saw Eric Jones and Ryan Blaney have a really good battle at points. A lot of beating and banging. I mean, there were some great passes set up. Bubba Wallace, I think, had one of his better road course results, ending up at P12, I believe. Really strong effort for that team. I mean, it's hard. I know people are upset at how large the margin of victory was, but when there was such good racing throughout the pack for the entire race, I think you just have to be excited about that, right? Like the rain added element. There was a bit of strategy involved. There was, again, rubbing, and as we all love to say, rubbing this racing. The atmosphere, again, when Shane Van Gisbergen punted that rugby ball into the stands, those fans were super excited about it. Loved the giant smile on the guy that got it, celebrating, and people smiling around him. I really hope NASCAR comes back to Mexico City. Saw some negative stuff on social media, as you always do whenever NASCAR does something different, and certainly whenever NASCAR does something internationally flavored. But I love this. I thought it was great. Most of the drivers, heck, I think all of the drivers had nothing but positive things to say about this week, in spite of maybe some illnesses, right? But again, I think part of that is getting to Elevation just a couple days before the event. This is a track that is, I think, 5,000 to 6,000 feet higher than any other track in elevation on the NASCAR circuit. So you should expect to have some body issues. If you've never traveled to elevation and participated in an athletic event, I suggest you try it for yourself and find out just how exhausting it can be. But again, fantastic race weekend. Really, really fun race to watch. I really hope NASCAR goes back. So next week, NASCAR will be at Pocono. I will not have a post-race wrap-up video as I'm going on a cruise to Alaska. So no NASCAR post-race wrap-up next week. We'll see, depending on what time I get back and get settled in, if we have one for the following week. But either way, stay tuned in. I'll still have some riding for Apollo between now and my return. So stay locked into Apollo for your source for NASCAR coverage from the Bayou City, and we'll catch you next time.